I'm doing it early. I'm gonna lay the point because I know what that trip is like. Hawaii's gonna win by 50. What else do you like?
A couple of baseball games. I like the Nationals run line -1.5 against Colorado. Give me A's money line. After this year, I hope the A's lose every game. Give me A's money line against Tampa Bay.
Johnny Cueto starting for the Los Angeles Angels tonight.
Awesome. Love Johnny Cueto.
I'll take Johnny Cueto.
Cueto against Lorenzen?
Whatever his strikeouts is.
Cueto against Lorenzen. And that's tough to go against. I'll take the Cardinals over the Brewers tonight at home as well. Not quite a home dog, but pretty much even money.
The Milwaukee Brewers, right?
Yes.
All those injuries?
Yeah.
Are like a half game out of the top seed.
But according to Nick Kroll, David Bell's done a really good job, and this team has been hampered by injuries.
Well, maybe, but I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers for some reason traded away Corbin Burns, have lost their closer, have used like 15 different starting pitchers.
Yeah.
No Woodruff. Miley's gotten hurt.
Here we are.
Christian Yelich is done for the season, and they might be the number 1 seed in the National League.
Crazy to think about.
Huh.
Think about that.
You ever heard Pat Murphy talk about his players? You ever heard of his post games? You ever heard the standard he upholds?
Pat him on the head.
Pretty cool.
Listened to him last week talk about Christian Yelich, and basically he's like, "Yeah, we would really like to have him, but we don't." Yeah. So
I mean, we literally had to. We listened to the GM of the Rangers, who just won the World Series, talk about
Chris Young. Yeah,
the play has been embarrassing from his team, and the players should be embarrassed. And we're happy with how things have gone to this point in Cincinnati.
Are we?
We're not.
I mean, all right.
But it feels like others around the organization could be.
Just keep playing hard, man.
Mo Egger's next. He'll give everything. He'll give everything he has.
Pythagorean. Are we winning?
And as Jeff Carr said today, you might want to put the banner up quickly of the run differential because that's shrinking
rapidly
as well. So might want to get to that sooner rather than later.
Level, boys.
Mo's next. Thanks to our callers, listeners, talkbackers, and sponsors.
Hope treads water.
So do other things.
Thanks to Jeff Carr.
Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your
Xbox and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Call 844-ADD-HELP-5. That's 844-ADD-HELP-5.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zapata, CMO Hyundai Motor America, discusses measuring audio.
The measurement capability within audio, I think, surprised all of us. We have seen a huge return on our investment. Seeing real numbers has helped us continue to invest.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the data, audiences, and influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. Next time you're dealing with an urgent orthopedic injury, just walk in to Ortho Cincy. No appointments ever needed at Ortho Cincy Orthopedic Urgent Care, and they've got extended evening and Saturday hours in Edgewood and Anderson. Check out orthocincy.com.
Madame Giselle senses a change in your future.
Is it a promotion?
I see a door opening.
Ooh, to a corner office?
There's a creature. Beady eyes, lots of hair.
Is it my boss, Dave?
No, raccoons everywhere. Your RV door is open, and they're chewing everything.
Not a problem. I'm covered by Progressive. Do you see a bigger paycheck?
Customize your coverage with Progressive's past damage protection and be prepared for the unexpected. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Past damage protection available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in term life. Industry rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call for a free quote today. 800-200-2250. That's 800-200-2250. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2250. 800-200-2250. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
We need your help to protect your right to AM radio in your car. AM is always there in times of need with the key information for our community. The overwhelming majority of legislators support a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time's running out. Please text the two letters AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month. Text stop to stop. A message from the station.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub piled high with grilled meats and veggies, nestle up next to fresh cut fries, and a hand squeezed lemonade? This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station. Put it in your face.
From the ESPN 1530 studio. Built by Madewell Restoration. Make sure your home's exterior is made well. Visit MadewellRestoration.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
This is 1530 WCKY, Cincinnati. The 50,000-watt orange and black home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The decision has been made in Denver. Rookie Bo Nix named starting quarterback, will be the first Broncos rookie to start the regular season opener since John Elway more than 4 decades ago. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
You go back to the workout where Sean Payton gave him the playbook the night before. He comes out the next day and he can basically regurgitate the playbook. He goes out, makes all the throws. We knew this was trending toward this months ago. And so for Sean Payton to come out and take all the suspense out of it, I think it's good for the organization. It's good for Bo Nix. Now let's see if he can perform once the ball is kicked off for real in a couple of weeks.
The Broncos open up the season September 8th in Seattle. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson said he expects to play in Saturday's preseason finale against Detroit. He and Justin Fields competing for the starting job. Basketball Hall of Famer Al Attles, one of the first black head coaches in the NBA who coached the 1975 NBA champion Warriors and spent more than 6 decades with the organization, has died at the age of 87. Nebraska named true freshman Dylan Raiola its starting quarterback.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday, AFC North, NFC North, and NFC West. I'll tell you which division is clearly the best in football. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center. With UC Health, the future of care is happening now through clinical trials and innovative treatments that give patients a chance for better outcomes. Visit uchealth.com. There's a 5-minute slowdown on northbound 75 between Mitchell Avenue and Paddock Road. And you can expect a 10-minute delay due to a disabled vehicle that's blocking the right lane if you're traveling in Kentucky on eastbound 275 between Madison Pike and Taylor Mill Road. Traffic is stop and go from Turkey Foot Road there. I'm Nicole with traffic.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Michelob Ultra is brewed for active living. Maybe it's post-workout or after a game of pickup with your buddies. Nothing's better than an ice-cold Michelob Ultra, and it's got just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs. Michelob Ultra is superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Men, if erectile dysfunction is affecting you, getting treated could have a dramatic impact on your relationship and your outlook on life. But it's also important where you get treated because your health matters. And working with an organization that practices excellent medicine and has significant expertise in men's sexual health can often result in a far better outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're seeking a quality provider to treat complete your ED, or are just not satisfied with your current situation, call us. We'll show you a true 5-star experience and work with you to find the right treatment for your specific medical situation. At Tri-State Men's Health, we truly are experts in men's sexual health, but it's more than that. Unlike the online pill pushers or so-called men's clinics that only offer one or a few treatment options, we offer the full spectrum of ED protocols. We can even use combinative therapies for better results. At Tri-State Men's Health, your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Celebrate Labor Day weekend this year with a bang at Rozzi's Famous Fireworks. Check out Rozzi's large assortment of backyard fireworks, perfect for your Labor Day weekend celebrations. Get 15% off purchases of $75 to $149 and get 20% off purchases of $150 or more. For more info on all their specials, go to RozziFireworks.com. That's ROZZI Fireworks.com.
It's showtime in primetime.
Burrow spikes the ball in the back of the end zone.
The Bengals and Colts top off their preseason schedule with a furious 4 quarters in the Queen City.
63 yards. The magic is back.
One last chance to get the orange and black ready for a Super Bowl run.
Picked off. The Bengals have it.
Get the call from the masters of the mic, Dan Hoard and Dave Lapham. Coverage starts tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 1530, the official home of the Bengals.
What's up? Good afternoon, the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to find something to send the Toronto Blue Jays. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. But first, our buddy Paul Dehner Jr. is here from The Athletic, covering the Cincinnati Bengals, the Growler podcast. Balls Don't Lie, latest edition out today.
Yes, it is out.
With me and you.
Yeah, we took a shot at let's talk defense.
I enjoyed that.
I mean,
the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to find something to send the Toronto Blue Jays. We're going to get to the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to find something to send the Toronto Blue Jays. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. But first, our buddy Paul Dehner Jr. is here from The Athletic, covering the Cincinnati Bengals, the Growler podcast. Balls Don't Lie, latest edition out today.
Yes, it is out.
With me and you.
Yeah, we took a shot at let's talk defense.
I enjoyed that.
I mean, I feel like as much time as we spend talking about this team every usually Tuesday for an hour here and you on my podcast throughout the off season, I mean, we talk about a lot of weird stuff. We go to a lot of odd places.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go to the defense as much as you would think, all those things considered. And I thought, that this was a perfect time to do it, coming off of I thought the exclamation point of them kind of being the quiet storyline of this Bengals camp.
Yeah.
Of how good and consistent they've kind of been.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun to kind of delve into that and dive deeper. And there's a lot to, lot to talk about there.
Well, and it's interesting because, when camp started and it's Jamar Chase is the story, right? And obviously Joe Burrow and his health and how's he doing and how's he looking. That's a big story. I remember I came back from vacation and I said, I'm going to do something you don't want me to do. I'm going to take your head and I'm going to move your head over here because over here is the defense. And, let's be honest, mechanically speaking, this is a really big deal. And it's important. And what's going to happen on the field over the next couple of weeks matters a lot. This is one of the central storylines. And, of course, people didn't want me touching their heads.
No.
But it did sort of fly under the radar, at least at the early portion of camp, and yet it's kind of taken hold as one of the stories that so many good things have happened.
Yeah, I feel like pretty consistently you've seen them winning. You've seen them at every step they've held up, whether we're talking about, going up against Joe Burrow. They've had probably one more than they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
They've made plays. They've gotten turnovers. They have found some young players emerging. They went to the preseason game against Tampa, and the starters got a 3-and-out and looked good. And then you saw some of the depth there against Chicago the next week, where they looked the twos certainly looked really good in shutting down Caleb Williams, despite what happened when he had one good throw against the threes. Caleb Williams was great. That's totally separate in those plays. But let's be honest, that was really encouraging for the Bengals' depth there. The defense did really well in the joint practice against Chicago in the rain, and then you come back here against the Colts, and Anthony Richardson can't complete a ball, and now they're talking trash.
They're
a little
feeling
bit.
it. Yeah, they were feeling themselves.
And that's eerily reminiscent of days of old, where they weren't yelling at each other; they were yelling at the other team and kind of taunting a little bit. And that's a little bit of what you remember from this defense. And so, as they've gone through this whole camp, they've just kind of checked boxes off. And while everyone's been talking about everything else, Lou Anarumo's group has been rebuilding itself. And to be honest, really mad. And a chip on their shoulder about last year. And not in like the weird cliche way. Like, they're just mad. They're embarrassed by what happened last year. And there's a never again attitude that you hear when you talk to them about how they've approached this season. I think that's kind of been apparent with some of the intensity you've seen from them throughout camp and now into what's going to be the regular season around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, as dreadful as the game Saturday became as it unfolded, and then, you know, we got to a point where it's Rocky Lombardi and I'm kind of done. But for a chunk of the afternoon, I was really excited about what I was watching from Lou's unit, acknowledging that a lot of those guys obviously aren't starters. It was really encouraging.
Really encouraging. Yeah. Well, because the depth was something that we've focused so much on.
Against ones, and a team full of ones that might be pretty good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that, you know, you sit here and you're like, man, did Josh Newton just have a one-on-one rep against DJ Moore on a third down and own him, essentially? I mean, it blanketed and knocked it down, and Newton had his ups and downs, and he's a rookie or whatever, but that's a high flash. That might be the best individual rep by any member of this rookie class throughout the entire camp and preseason. I mean, to make you remember, that's stuff you don't forget when you're looking for flashes right now. Stuff like that is happening, and so, you know, they have invested heavily in the depth here. They have a lot of high picks that are not starting. They have guys they have paid that are not necessarily in full roles or starting. And so you have a lot of those guys that are going to need to be the next wave for this team, and probably, let's be honest, be the guys that are going to need to get them through December and January, because that's how this goes. And to see that, I think was super encouraging for where they're at right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you talked about this a little bit on the podcast today, the very quick ascension of Dax Hill, from a guy who in the middle of the offseason we were talking about, like, you know, is the light bulb going to come on, and is it going to come on in time for him to be a factor this year, to now, like, not only might he be the starter, I'm excited about how that might play out as well.
Yeah, I mean, we were wondering if it's going to be too big of an ask.
Right.
And, like, even though he was a first-round pick, it's like, you know, it just takes a while to learn it. And I talked to Lou Anarumo for a little while about this yesterday, and he sort of said, yeah, I mean, it is a process, and instincts for on the outside, he's still going to have to pick up those and learn some of those. But everything else that you've seen, he just keeps making plays. He just keeps looking the part, and they have allowed him to look the part because he's been the starter for a couple of weeks now. I mean, DJ Turner hasn't sniffed the first team, and so it's over as far as it appears right now. I mean, especially after that joint practice where Dax was tested a lot and continued to look good, it feels like it's his job, and he earned it. And that's the thing, that the puzzle just looks so much better when you have a Dax Hill becoming a real number two. You love DJ Turner as your fourth corner, and you love Josh Newton as your fifth corner. Yeah. If you have you like Cam Taylor-Britt as your one. But you need to know that you feel like you have confidence in that too, and that's still a projection. But, you know, to see what you've seen there, it makes it feel like the whole secondary fits together so much better now if he can be what he kind of has shown that he can be throughout camp and preseason.
I just feel like there's a ton of upside.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's not realized this year because of the youth, but I look at the perfect, just if you fold the safeties into the conversation, the perfect combo of a guy in Von Bell who just does everything right, a reliable slot guy in Mike Hilton, you know what he is, an ascending player in Geno Stone, and then, early round draft choices at the corner spots who have shown flashes. We all expect a big year from Cam Taylor-Britt. That's something you and I talked about today. Like it really feels like the perfect combination if you're trying to do a 180 from what you were last year back there.
Yeah, and so much of that, guys playing above their level instead of regressing comes back to, some of the things that you mentioned, like just feeling like they're playing confident and having an understanding. And that goes back to Von Bell. I mean, we go back to, what we talk about. What are the camp battles going to be from a month ago? And we go Jordan Battle versus Von Bell. Is that going to be a thing? It's never once been a thing, because the one thing that everyone agrees upon is that Von Bell has made everyone so much more comfortable in the way that he is communicating, and that it has made a big difference every day out there. And they've seen that grow not only with him and Geno Stone, but with the linebackers in front of them and with even the defensive line, and just that communication, keeping everybody so much more confident. I mean, the terms that's been used to me a lot is we just were playing in chaos last year. Mm-hmm. Every game felt like chaos, and now it just feels, he said, I'm here to create peace and then violence, but peace and calm, so everyone feels like they know exactly what's going on and can just go play and be themselves. And that is how you get young players to take the next step, to play at the level that they're physically capable of while they're finding an environment that they're comfortable with mentally. And so I think it sets up for that. Things can go awry, and you never know what the heck's going to happen when you get out there for the real thing. But I just think it's been a really, really encouraging month in general for the defense, and specifically for a few of the guys we just talked about.
Do you know what the 4 greatest words you've ever written in an article are?
The preseason is over?
Okay. Do you know what the second best 4 words you've ever written in any piece that you've published? You know what those 4 words are?
According to Mo Egger?
No. Although that's okay. Do you know what the third greatest? You wrote 4 words that I've been looking for.
Okay.
I'll tell you what they are when we come back. He's Paul Dehner Jr. Follow him on X at Paul Dehner Jr. It's 3:15. I'm Mo Egger. Paul's here, and we have Tony cutting your time short again at 3:45.
He's trying to take me down. I don't like
Paul's
this. Feels
here
personal.
For the majority of the 4 o'clock hour. I'm here till 6. Glad you're with us today on ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center. With UC Health, the future of care is happening now through clinical trials and innovative treatments that give patients a chance for better outcomes. Visit uchealth.com. There's a 15-minute slowdown on eastbound 275 in Kentucky between Madison Pike and Taylor Mill Road due to a disabled vehicle. It is stop-and-go traffic from Dixie Highway. We have another 15-minute delay due to another disabled vehicle that's blocking the left center lane on southbound 75, again in Kentucky, after 12th Street. I'm Nicole with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Time with family, laughs with friends, and cash back. Discover's got you covered on the last one. That's because Discover doubles all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
If you love card collecting, well, Hitseeker Sports Cards is the country club of card shops, but the only entry fee is a similar passion for cardboard. The store is always clean, the inventory is well displayed and priced, and the staff could not be more helpful. Hitseeker Sports Cards is here for the community of card enthusiasts. You've got to check them out on Dixie Highway in Fort Mitchell or inside Great American Ballpark. Find them on the web at hitseekerscardbreaks.com or follow them on their Facebook group or live on the Loop Sports Cards app.
Coming to Cincinnati, the Gaslight Anthem. Live at the Andrew J. Brady Music Center on August 27th. Promoting their new EP, History Books Short Stories. Support includes Joyce Manor and Pink Shift. Tickets are available now at Ticketmaster.com. The Gaslight Anthem, live in Cincinnati on August 27th.
We need your help to protect your right to AM radio in your car.
AM is always there in times of need with the key information for our community. The overwhelming majority of legislators support a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time is running out. Please text the 2 letters AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now. Text AM to 52886.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month. Text stop to stop. A message from the station.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, made from scratch ice cream is too. Stop by while 2-dip cones are buy one, get one free. All flavors, including peach and cookies and cream. UDF ice cream, made for you.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel, prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
Hey, it's Mo Egger with my guy John from Window World. John, there's a lot of things I loved about working with your company when I was a customer, but the thing I loved the most was all the pricing is upfront.
You know what, Mo? It's kind of how we pride ourselves is our upfront pricing leaves nothing to the imagination. You don't have to wonder what kind of discount we're going to give you. Right up front, you see the pricing. It's the best product for the best price with the best warranty in the industry.
Well said, John. Learn more about Window World at windowworldcincinnati.com. That's windowworldcincinnati.com.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in term life. Industry rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110 level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call for a free quote today. 800-200-2250. That's 800-200-2250. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2250. 800-200-2250. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. ESPN 1530, an iHeartRadio station.
20 after 3 o'clock. This is ESPN 1530. I'm Mo Egger. Paul Dehner Jr. is here. TheAthletic.com. I'm going to do this because I'm a good friend.
Uh-oh.
While I'm on the air tomorrow, you have an event. Go ahead and promote it.
Oh, wow. That is really nice. Yeah, no, we'll be at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
For about an hour. We'll be down at
right when we're starting hour number 2.
Right when you're starting hour number 2. Yeah. People can listen to yours. I don't even care. You can sit at our thing and listen to your show.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I don't care. No, we'll be down at BetMGM Sportsbook and Nation Kitchen and Bar at the Banks. It's going to be a fun party down there. Me, Jay, Mark Shalafu will be doing kind of a live show with tons of giveaways, free graders. You know, we'll answer whatever questions people have about the Colts or about Green Day or Smashing Pumpkins because that concert is going on tomorrow. And we just have tons of, you can get gift cards to Nation, free bets. If it's part of our grand prize we gave away was someone got $25 to place a bet on the Bengals to do something this year. They can choose to do it on the Super Bowl if you are confident. If you're weak and want to get booed, you can bet on them to do anything else. But we'll give you that. That's all been a part of it. It's a ton of fun. We had a great time the last home game, and we're going to be doing a bunch of these this year, and this is the next one tomorrow.
Game itself kicks off at 8 o'clock.
8, yeah. It's always 4 hours before the game. We're not doing any of the 1 o'clock games because 9 a.m. feels a touch early.
Okay.
But any of the non-1 o'clocks this year we're pretty much doing, and we'll be there 4 hours before kickoff.
I'm gonna go over under games over at 10:41. Do you remember that game 2 years ago, Bengals v. Rams, the finale? That bad boy was played. It felt like a current Major League Baseball game.
Yeah.
That thing was over in like 2 hours and 25 minutes.
I
It
think
was
they
glorious.
felt like if they played that fast enough, the NFL wouldn't look any more into the joint practice. Wouldn't know that it happened. So they're like, maybe they won't find the video or even remember that this was ever a thing if we just try not to make this game be long enough. I mean, this is a great time to practice your run offense and defense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what this needs to be. This
And-
needs to be a lot of run plays. Let's get out there and grind it out.
And practice like getting into the huddle.
Oh, yeah.
Communicate. Where's everybody going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the huddle, and then get to the line of scrimmage. Make sure, do the pre-snap stuff, hand the ball off, and I think that's a good idea.
I see no reason to pass.
The 4 greatest words you've ever written came on the heels of yesterday's joint practice. I mean, there's been some angst about Joe.
There has.
And
The glove.
The glove.
Yeah.
I expected an expose into the glove.
Yeah.
Maybe one of your colleagues or peers can do that. And so, just a little unease, just a touch, not full-blown play, just a little unease.
Sure.
And then yesterday I read the joint practice and you typed or wrote, quote, Burrow looked the part.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
I think generally, we can speculate about gloves and we can talk about, bad practice here or what happened in Chicago in the rain, and we can make Burrow versus the rain jokes, and we can do all that stuff. And in general, over the course of this last month, I've seen Joe Burrow make every throw I need to see him make.
If you take the
entirety of everything,
of everything that he has done,
everything I've seen, there's no box I feel like he didn't check. And if you tell me that he's checked every box in terms of what he can do and played, really well yesterday and made a lot of really nice throws. And one that I specifically highlighted in this piece that was one that I've been waiting to see for a long time, which was this sort of really deep out to T. Higgins in a tight window, just on an absolute rope.
Right.
That's the type of high velocity throw. You want to see him be able to rear back because he knows he has to get it there and be able to do it. Every throw I feel like you've wanted to see him do, he's done. And if you know that about that guy, then you trust when it's time to go out there and play for real. Like he's going to have everything he needs and be just fine. Nobody can say anything for certain about this wrist over the course of the long haul of the season. We knew that before it started. But you did want to say that you saw that he's done everything that he normally does. Do I want to see him taking a glove on and off and blowing into it and doing all that? Not particularly.
Right.
I don't understand necessarily what that is, and I have PTSD from last year, from anything compression sleeve or glove or whatever. But that said, I can only go by what my eyes tell me when I watch him play the game. And when I watch him play the game, I see him making the throws that you want to see him make. And that's enough for me. And maybe it's not enough for some other people, but what do we know about him as a normal camp? We've never seen him in a normal camp.
This is the most normal one.
Maybe that's just how he ramps up.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's just part of it getting going. I've seen him be up and down in the first and second game of the season. So perhaps that plays into the same way as he builds chemistry. Or perhaps it's a little hard to run offense sometimes when Kwame Lassiter and Kendrick Pryor are trying to win one-on-ones, which is what it's been for some part of it. And that's no disrespect to them. There's some practice squad guys going against a really salty first-team defense a lot this camp. All of that, to me, says Joe Burrow has looked the part and kind of shown, I think, what you would want to see, with Tuesday being kind of the last final piece of that.
I had 3 questions here related. I think we kind of answered one. Most encouraging thing about camp would just be the overall performance and development of the defense.
I think so.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I would agree with that.
Most surprising thing about camp.
How quickly Amarius Mims looked like a dude.
Yeah.
And that's something we documented and talked about early a lot. So I don't want to overextend on that point, but that's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, this was supposed to be raw, inexperienced guy with barely any college tape. And can you even evaluate? He looks good when he's out there, but he hardly played. And he has, everything that you heard of the I don't know about him was kind of debunked instantly, from his personality to the way he played, to where you're like, yeah, that guy's the starting right tackle immediately. and that's was a bit of a surprise, I would say, when you consider what we were saying about him before.
What has been the most disappointing thing that has unfolded in the last few weeks?
I mean, the whole Jamar saga is disappointing. Just because you want to feel that momentum offensively of everybody's out there, and just that, okay, here they go, like big year, everybody's on board, and it's kind of hung over everything.
It's a wet blanket.
Yeah. Exactly. And it hasn't necessarily hindered a ton. I'm sure there's a lot of scheme stuff they like to be doing with Jamar right now. And I'm sure it would be better if Jamar was like really ramping up in full shape. But I don't have as much a problem with that, other than it's just been kind of like, it's kind of sapped some of the momentum at the end and the feel of everything. So that's probably the most disappointing aspect, even though that's a much broader answer probably than we're looking for. I think it's probably the most disappointing.
You think thing with him a week from now?
It's the best sale of the year. Get a Sealy Queen bed for a queen price.
Yeah. That feels like something that's going to roll over into that first week, right? It's like Labor Day.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about me, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like not being able to enjoy Labor Day weekend.
It's your last weekend without a game.
You know, when you're staring at the beers in front of you and you're like, well, I've had 3. Yeah. You know, and you're like, are these accessible to me with Jamar's situation hanging out there, or do I need to be thinking about that? That no one wants that in the back of their head on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, so this is how I've kind of framed it in my mind. Similar to this past Saturday, you know, we had some people over and we're at the pool, and I look at my phone and I'm the guy that has to walk over and say Hunter Green on the injured list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, I want to forget that. I envision on Labor Day me being the guy who's like, hey, the Jamar Chase thing is done. And then it's a different feel. It's a different vibe. I would sign me up for that. That'd be okay.
That would be great. I think you'd take that for sure. I mean,
guys, this is a 30-second ad.
No, I don't think anybody can say anything for certain. My gut still is that doesn't get done. That's still
no deal, and he plays against
no
the
deal, and
Patriots.
he plays week 1.
Okay.
That's my gut on it.
Okay.
Now, again, I still contend all anyone really has is gut right now.
Sure.
Even Jamar Chase doesn't know what he's going to do. And the Bengals don't know how this is going to play out. But I still think that's where this is.
How, and I don't want to spend, we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to space. How significant was it that he got on the plane and went to Chicago? After going AWOL for a day.
Yeah, that didn't become a thing.
Yeah.
That the 1 day away didn't become, now he's just away. I think that, and, you know, he's out there, he's running routes in seclusion. Right? I mean, he's doing his get ready thing when no one's watching. So those are good points.
Okay, very good. It's 3:31 on ESPN 1530. Paul Dana Jr. covering the Bengals at The Athletic. Get his work at theathletic.com and the Growler podcast. You can get that, as we say, where you get your podcast. Sports headlines and more next. ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center. With UC Health, the future of care is happening now through clinical trials and innovative treatments that give patients a chance for better outcomes. Visit uchealth.com. Slow traffic is causing a 10-minute delay on northbound 71 between Norwood Lateral and Red Bank Road. And we have a 15-minute slowdown due to some residual traffic from an earlier incident on southbound 75 after 12th Street in Kentucky. It is stop and go from Fort Washington Way. I'm Nicole with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, easily save and quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we've got something a little different for you now through September 22nd. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you can watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. And by the way, that week 3, Sunday afternoon at a market game. Bengals play on Monday night, so you don't have to worry about them getting in the way. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. All you got to do is go to FanDuel.com/Mo and download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel.com/MO. 21 plus and present in Ohio. Full price of NFL Sunday ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Mo Egger here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate's over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 513-800-1550 or go to loanpronto.com. 513-800-1550. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
Jane, I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
Or being a dog person and a cat person.
Who wants a treat? Who's a good boy?
Or like being an extrovert and an introvert.
Woo! This is so fun! I can't wait to go home.
At T-Mobile, you don't have to choose. You can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how much you can save with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, when you switch, you can keep your phone and we'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device, credit service, and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke Skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub? Piled high with grilled meats and veggies. Nestle up next to fresh cut fries. And a hand-squeezed lemonade. This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station. Put it in your face.
Way back in 1939, Emory Federal Credit Union opened its doors, and 85 years later, they're celebrating all their history and accomplishments. To celebrate, Emory is offering special discounts and public events that you don't want to miss. Get details at emoryfcu.org and celebrate this milestone by boosting your savings deposits with a certificate rate as high as 5.20% for 6 months. Restrictions apply. Limited time offer. NMLS number 401087. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
We need your help to protect your right to AM radio in your car. AM is always there in times of need with the key information for our community. The overwhelming majority of legislators support a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time's running out. Please text the 2 letters AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month. Text stop to stop. A message from the station.
Another insurance story from
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
It's raining inside.
Yeah, pipes burst, but we're covered with renter's insurance from Smart Bunny.
Get up to $100,000 of personal liability coverage and up to $40,000 of contents insurance for as low as $15 a month. Hop on the Smart Bunny app for some renter's insurance. Smart Bunny Insurance.
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny. Bunny.
Your insurance super app. Insurance is sold by Smart Bunny Insurance Services and underwritten by various companies. Coverage exclusions and limitations may apply.
You found Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
Sports headlines are a service of Kelsey Chevrolet, home of lifetime powertrain protection and guaranteed credit approval from their family to yours for life. KelseyChev.com. Bengals are off today. They play the Colts tomorrow night. The game's live on ESPN 1530. Pregame coverage at 3, kickoff at 8 o'clock. Multiple reports say that Miles Murphy is dealing with a knee sprain, and the expectation is he'll only have to miss a few weeks. Pretty good news relative to what our fears were yesterday. Meanwhile, Reds and Blue Jays again tonight. Nick Martinez throws for Cincinnati against righty Ariel Rodriguez. 7:07 tonight on 700 WLW. Florence on the road at Gateway. And FC Cincinnati goalkeeper Alec Can had surgery for the torn meniscus in his hip. He is out for the remainder of the season. The Orange and Blue getting set to take on Miami on Saturday. Paul Dehner Jr.'s here.
Multiple reports chasing our friend James Rapine on that one, who had that.
So
Miles Murphy.
I wrote that down.
Yes.
But I didn't want to say it in front of you.
I'll say it.
I wrote Rapine.
Yeah, that's
my
his.
guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All over it.
Rapine was first.
Absolutely.
And then everybody else. I didn't want to say that with you here.
That's okay.
Because then, well, why didn't you have it first? Then it's one of those, and I didn't want to.
I don't get super involved.
Things
in
to
that.
be weird.
I don't get super involved.
I know you don't. Yeah, James
crushes it.
Yeah, no question about it. Are you willing to admit you were wrong about Matt Lee?
The Matt Lee combo. Yes, I was not wrong about Matt Lee. My point last week was that I'm not going to put somebody who had to that point only slightly rotated in with the twos and played a dozen snaps in the fourth quarter behind Trey Hill, ahead of him in my 53. He needed to do something like, play the entire game against the Bears and do well. Like, that's how you hop somebody. He was given that opportunity. That, I do love the groundswell of Matt Lee for the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot, man.
Hall of Famer. And that's, I think he's a cool story, and what he's done is really, really fun.
And he played really well against
and really
the Bears.
exciting.
Yeah.
Like that, there's no doubt about that. But because he's come from off the map. I'm from a guy that wasn't getting even one rep with the twos until he came in the fourth quarter of that game against the Bucks, to now being, certified absolutely going to be the backup to Ted Karras and probably saying goodbye to Trey Hill is a nice week.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a happy camper. I've talked to him a couple of times in the last week, and he's having a good time.
Right.
As he should be.
And for those who don't know, you did your original, your 53-man roster projection last week, which was a reflection of what you had seen in practice. As you said, follow the reps. He wasn't getting second-team reps. And then he goes out there and he plays 60-plus snaps against the Bears and played terrific.
It started to change right after I put that out, because that week in practice, they rotated him in, and some with the twos, not all. It was still him and Trey Hill rotating. And then they gave him the full shot there, and he played well against Chicago.
What is, between now and week one, beyond the Jamar Chase thing, what is left to be solved? What's left to be figured out?
Not much. It feels pretty straightforward. I feel like there's not a ton happening beyond the top 53. I don't feel like there's a lot there that you're like, oh man, look at all this. It feels pretty cut and dry, and their roster's pretty cut and dry. There's just a lot of people that the plan for and that have been around and are high picks, so they're going to be in a position to play. Like, there's not a ton happening there, I think the offensive line coming into focus over the last week was the last thing. Kirkland, Ford, Lee.
Yeah.
Like, those are the last guys that you had to kind of figure out where that was going to land. I think what that 9.
And tomorrow night's Jackson Carmen's swan song.
It will be. How many? I mean, you think he'll go out in this a hail of false starts, like just as a way to go out?
I think that's how they should market the game.
Yeah.
I think they should have a pregame ceremony for him.
It's tough. It's been a rough run for 79 here, but yeah, I do think that this will be the end.
Punter battle's not settled.
It's not. But Ryan Rico has not taken it.
Yeah.
In fact, he's kind of handed it back to Brad Robbins more than anything.
It felt like Saturday was, if he has a clean game, it's his.
He could go grab it, and
Yeah.
he didn't at all.
Yeah.
And I think they were pretty happy with what they'd seen from Robbins to that point, and obviously has the hip flexor injury, but I think it's some of it's depending on how quickly he comes back from that and how he looks or whatever, but I'd lean it towards Robbins at this point.
If they were to get a veteran player post-cut down day, and obviously the player has to match what they need and positionals. But if they were to look at a specific area for a veteran, what would the first place on the team be? What would the first position group be?
That position would be the Samaje Perine role, and they'd fill it with Samaje Perine because they still haven't done that.
Right.
I am still very much of the mind that Samaje Perine is going to be a Bengal in some way, shape, or form, whether it's via trade or cut and pick up. He just appears to be on the outs in Denver, and especially with the Chris Evans injury, it's like, you're right back where you want him to be as that third running back, third down back guy. Like, you can have him in the rotation. So that, to me, is one. I still think if there's a way to acquire a bigger defensive tackle, they have to be looking into that. And think of crazy things happen this time of year.
Yeah.
Billy Price was traded for B.J. Hill around this time of year.
Yes.
Reggie Nelson was acquired for David Jones. This is one of the few times of the year the Bengals actually do trade. And it's usually with somebody that they know they're going to cut, and they try to acquire something at a position of need. Defensive tackle, a bigger guy, just with the McKinley Jackson injury hanging out there. What you can even get, how much of that halt hit, what he can even get from him for a rookie year. I think you have to be looking into that if somebody is available and another team needs something that you're going to discard.
It was at least nice to see Chris Jenkins play better than he did in his first game.
Yeah, Lou Anarumo, I talked to him about it, and he likes where Chris Jenkins is at, and even as a run stopper, he's like, it's adjusting to double teams in the NFL is a deal. And that's a thing you got to learn, and he's learning that. He said, but you see it, and he still feels like he's in a good place to be part of the rotation.
All right. If Jake Browning, if the Bengals, the game tomorrow night, if it counted, would Jake Browning be active? Would he be the number 2?
If this was a game 1 and they had to have him, I think he'd play.
He's okay?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want him to play, but he would be active in a uniform just in case. He would be the number 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So that rib issue that I was fretting about.
They're just being careful to make sure there's zero reason to mess with it. Just make sure he's all the way healthy and back in case you need him anymore.
I mean, you could do quickly like a Jackson Carman poster, bobblehead, and do first 25,000 and just.
There's got to be some of those laying around in a back room from the year they drafted.
They could have Frank Pollock make a speech, and just.
Everyone goes around, at the fan cam, everyone goes around and talks about their favorite moment of the Jackson Carman area. What was your favorite?
The Bengals social media team is awesome. You can get some players to sort of talk about well, I tell you what, man, I'm going to tell my kids I got a chance to go through training camp with Jackson Carman. I mean, it'd be fun.
Just slow motion of every rep from the playoffs that year that he didn't lose. Just looking great. I love it.
All right. Have a good time tomorrow night.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell people maybe if we take a break or when we're done to make sure they flip it on too.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to stop talking for a second. Now let's go see what nonsense Mo is spewing. Yeah. Let's do that. 4:00 tomorrow.
4:00 tomorrow. Yep. Right downtown at Bet MGM Sportsbook, Nation Kitchen and Bar.
Are we back on Tuesdays next week? Are we back on normal?
Yeah, we'll be right into Cut Down next Tuesday at 4:00.
Oh man.
Wow. One of the most anticipated shows of the year.
I think we've done this before. We've done this for a while now.
Right up against it.
I can't wait. Very good. All right, Paul Dehner Jr. Follow him on X at Paul Dehner Jr., theathletic.com, nytimes.com, and the Growler Podcast. Thank you as always. Tony Pike joins us next. Hey, it's Mo Egger. Dealing with an urgent orthopedic injury? Just walk into Ortho Cincy Orthopedic Urgent Care. No appointment is needed at Ortho Cincy Orthopedic Urgent Care. Plus, some locations have extended evening and Saturday hours. Learn more at orthocincy.com.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Easy propane service. That's what you can expect with Feral Gas. With great service, quick delivery options, and reliable propane supply, What more could you ask for? Oh, instant online quotes. We do those too. Start your easy propane service with Feral Gas. Get a quote today at feralgas.com. That's FERRELLGAS.com.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub piled high with grilled meats and veggies, nestle up next to fresh cut fries, and a hand-squeezed lemonade? This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station. Put it in your face.
Hey, Sarah here. Travel in style this season to Cincinnati road games with Fans of Cincy. A road game travel experience, Fans of Cincy, is for the people like you and me who bleed black and orange. Fans of Cincy brings it with everything from airport transportation, flight, hotel accommodations, to game day tickets and an all-inclusive tailgate with food and drinks. Who day? Nobody. So who's hitting the roads with Fans of Cincy? You are. Book now at fansofcincy.com.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from one Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
I need a small order of sheet metal. Can you help?
Yup. At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Even for home projects?
Yup. Any metal cuts a size. No minimum order.
Serious?
Yup.
Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Cincinnati for more details.
When employers like 700 WLW and Tire Discounters choose Delta Dental of Ohio, employees can access the nation's largest selection of individually contracted dentists, and they get the care they need from the dentist they prefer.
This is Scott Riley, Vice President of Human Resources at Tire Discounters. At Tire Discounters, we know that details matter, especially when caring for the health of our families. That's why we choose Delta Dental of Ohio.
Delta Dental, building healthy, smart, vibrant communities for all. DeltaDentalOH.com.
Weather Center, here's your forecast.
Staying fall-like into the evening. Humidity continues to stay low overnight tonight as we fall into the upper 40s and low 50s, right around 52 in the city with a northeast wind at 3 to 6 miles per hour. Thursday, another pleasant day, slightly warmer, 79, more sunshine. And Friday, the sunshine is back. We start out Friday 54 up to 86 and the heat returns as we head to the weekend. That's your forecast. I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Brandon Spinner.
This report is sponsored by Express Pro Tire and Auto.
Express Pro Tire and Auto makes car care as easy as ABC with their back-to-school deal. Oil change, tire rotation, brake check, and more, just $49.99. Click expresspro.com. Express Pro Tire and Auto. Service you deserve. Professionals I trust.
Express Pro Tire and Auto Care.
Hey, Alexa, what's going on in baseball?
Getting ESPN 1530 from iHeartRadio.
This is the Training Camp Report, brought to you by Kemba Credit Union on ESPN 1530, the official home of the Bengals.
Bengals are not practicing today. They have the Colts tomorrow at the venue originally known as Paul Brown Stadium, but we're committed to giving you the best and most thorough and most in-depth Bengals training camp coverage. So Tony Pike is here without a practice to cover.
Yeah.
It's good to have you.
How do you view camp reports versus what we start next week with season preview reports? How will you approach those differently?
Well, the season preview reports, you're not going to be at a practice.
Sure.
So I'm not going to get like the boots on the ground eyewitness coverage of what's happening. So, we can preview the Bengals and all the different areas of the team, but we could spend a day on each AFC North team and maybe talk about some of the other AFC contenders. And
as training camp comes to a close, everyone is asked, okay, what are your thoughts on different positions? What are you grading out? How would you grade this year's camp reports?
Outstanding.
Great.
Terrific. You've been awesome.
Great.
It's terrific. It's a lot of fun to have somebody who's there when stuff is happening at training camp practice, even if sometimes you're reporting things that many of us might not like to hear.
The positive thing is that in years past, I felt like I spent every day at camp talking about the O-line.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do that as much, and we may have to at some point with Trent Brown's progression and the Mims injury, but at least that part is refreshing.
It is, but I'll say this, and I was going to mention this anyway. I still can't get past the thought that, number one, this is going to be, at very best, a league average offensive line.
Yeah.
And number two, when their depth gets tested, they're not going to be ready.
You know, I had Richard Skinner on Cincy 360 today, and I asked him, what is one of the main things you're still concerned about as camp breaks? And he said Trent Brown. Trent Brown, in yesterday's joint practice, took the first rep of one-on-ones, got beat, went and took a knee, didn't take one other rep. In most of the team drills, he would take the first 3 or 4 snaps, and then he would sub himself out. Talked after practice that he's working through some stuff, not there yet. And as Skinny brought up, September 8th, say it's 85, 88 degrees, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Are you counting on Trent Brown to make every snap in game one? And if you're not, and if Amarius Mims is not available yet, what's your option at right tackle in the most important season that this franchise has had in protecting Joe Burrow?
I will say this, you're right. I mean, to me, right tackle is still the biggest offensive question mark. We don't know who's going to play it, and if it's Trent Brown, he's a guy who less than 2 weeks ago was telling everybody, I'm not in football shape. I am sort of interested tomorrow in seeing if we can see the continued progression of Matt Lee, who was really good against the Chicago Bears, one of a handful of players who was, and Jackson Kirkland.
Can't wait to see those two because they're getting better with each opportunity they get. The left side